All right, man, we're live for the 2029 fake Orioles trade deadline special with GM Pat. GM Pat, how's it going over there?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to hear about all the deals you've been considering or already made and to get an update on the ball club. First, I'm going to give a quick plug in the comments. I'm just going to post a link. So I have my own YouTube channel, and I'm going to start doing some streams there where I talk about people's fake sports dynasties, which is one of my favorite things to talk about, not just with my brother Pat, but with anybody who has a fake sports dynasty and whatever it is. NHL, out of the park, Madden, NBA games, college sports. So if anybody wants to jump into that stream, I'm going to start doing it with the first one on Monday night. So that link goes to it. Hit subscribe. You can set a reminder for the stream. And I hope you guys will jump in and start talking about your fake sports dynasties with me on my own channel. So
the stream will be real, though.
What's that, bud?
The stream will be real, but you'll be talking about fake sports.
Real stream, real talk, fake sports.
Gotcha.
Well, I'd love for you and your headband to talk a little bit about what you've been doing with your fake baseball team in the fake warehouse down at fake Camden Yards.
Well, yeah, I mean, like most GMs right around trade deadline day, in the middle of the day, I'm talking to my brother and drinking a beer. My brother told me he didn't have any beer in the house, so I told him I'd have one for both of us. It's a Maryland beer. It's a Baltimore beer in a Maryland pint glass. So I think like most general managers, before they make the big decisions at the trade deadline, I'm having a midday beer.
Same beer you were having during our last one?
It is actually, yeah. It's the other beer I have. Well, the other beer I have is a Guinness. Guinness doesn't count as a Maryland beer, but they are, they have a huge operation in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And just donated a ton of money to the community. So in a way, Guinness is a Baltimore beer. It's the only place they're stationed in the U.S.
Yes, I knew that.
All right, so Kirk is here.
Yeah, and that facility they have is awesome.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, you've been there?
Yes. And but it was very crowded when I went. So we couldn't get a table to eat at. This was at least a year ago. We couldn't get a table to eat at or sit at in the bar area. And we just decided to come back another time. We just kind of walked around, checked the place out, and then I want to go back. It's awesome. But I want to go back on a day when I have more time to wait for a table or get there on a day when it's not as packed. So
can you hear me? It just said my mic wasn't working temporarily.
I can hear you.
Cool.
We're good. And hello to Kirk.
Let me see. All right, cool. Let me know if I cut out at any point. It said it muted my mic involuntarily. All right, cool. So we want to get caught up on the Fakos trades?
Yeah, let's get caught up. Tell us, first of all, just kind of where we are right now. What's the date? Is it trade deadline day?
What's that?
Is it trade deadline day right now, 2029?
So I put up that video yesterday when it was June and things weren't going well, right?
Right.
And they're still not going great. So I'm going to pull up the Out of the Park screen. You want me to go to that one?
Yeah. Oh, Kirk, yeah, there's a Guinness brewery in Baltimore. It's actually just outside the city. It's near Elkridge. I don't know exactly. It's actually not too far from the airport.
Yeah, it's right by BWI.
So yeah, why don't you share your screen? Let's see what you got going.
Cool. All right, just making sure. All right, you can see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me get rid of this thing. I don't know why I did that. Okay, cool. All right, so I posted the video yesterday in June. Things weren't going well. It's now July 31st. So yeah, I'm at the trade deadline, and I'm 2 games under 500. Things were going a bit better, and then I lost 7 in a row. And then I won 2, and now I've lost 1. So I lost 7 in a row, 8 of 9. So now I'm back to 2 games under 500, 52 and 54. I'm not out of it, though. I'm 7.5 back in the East, which is tough. Wild card, there's a bunch of teams, but I'm only 5.5 games out. That 6-game losing streak really hurt me. I was only 2 games out of the division when that streak started.
Who did you play in those 6 games?
I think one of them was a divisional team. I played the Kansas City Royals and the Yankees, yeah. And then lost one against the Rays and then beat them 2 in a row.
Okay.
To try to get this thing back on track.
So the losses to the Yankees didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, my team was doing way better. I went 15-12 and 17-8, but now because of that losing streak, I'm 8-15 in July. So I've got a 9-19 month and an 8-15 month. That's really hard to make the playoffs.
So then, what's your strategy at the deadline? Are you thinking you're going to try to make some trades to still try to make the playoffs right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
What's that?
Did you make some moves already?
I did. I just made some moves. I think it was on like July 27th or so. So I'd already made the moves for Forrest Whitley and Corbin Klaus earlier in the year, right? And I talked about them. So then I went and I got this guy, McKinley Moore from the Nationals, who actually...
Oh, yeah, sure. McKinley Moore.
What's that?
I said, oh, yeah, sure. McKinley Moore.
Yeah, old friend McKinley Moore.
I followed his career closely, and no, just kidding. I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, so neither did I. But so let me take this full screen here. Does that improve your view there?
A little bit, but I can do this too. Let's see what happens. Hold on.
No, I just went full screen so I could see it better on my screen.
Got it. I can also do full screen like this because it's more important people see the fake Orioles than us.
Yeah, that might be true. So yeah, this is McKinley Moore. He actually was being used as a starter for the Nats. He's only got a 35 stamina though, and where I needed help was in the bullpen. So I'm using him as like a stopper, which in Out of the Park is basically a multi-inning closer. As you can see, he's pitched 4 innings for me. He pitched 2 innings, and then the next day pitched 2 innings again. He struck out 7 guys in those 4 innings. So who this guy is he didn't make it into the majors really until he was 26. And then he wasn't a starter until he's 28. And then last year at age 29, he had a good season for the Indians, and he's having a good season for the Nats. And so I brought him in, but I don't really need help in my rotation as much as I do in the bullpen. So I'm using him as like a multi-inning arm at the back of the bullpen. His stuff is awesome. His movement is good, and he's got 3 killer pitches.
What'd you have to give up to get him?
Yeah, so I gave up Henry Wallen, who has been a decent player in my minor league system, who just hasn't been able to put it together at the major league level.
Yeah, I remember this guy. He was there were like 3 infielders who were
exactly
26, 27-year-old rookies a couple years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. In 2027, he put up 4.4 WAR in AAA, and then he came up for me and he had a 91 OPS plus. He was fine. And then this year he toured up at AAA again, but really struggled at the major league level. And he's 28 now. So I was willing to deal him.
Cool.
And then I actually got a first base They really liked Wallen. A few teams really thought he was a really valuable dude, which he's got a 65 home run power. If he can put together a few good seasons at this point in his career, he's probably a starting second baseman, but I didn't have time to wait. I also got this guy who he's a first baseman. He's got a terrible arm, so he can probably only play first base, maybe a little second base, and he doesn't hit for any power. And he's 25, and he's never played above AA, so we'll see what happens with him.
So you got him and the pitcher Moore for Wallen.
Wallen, right.
Cool.
And then the big move, well, not the big move, but it was a big change. I brought in Josh Bell at first base, who in real life is the Pirates first baseman who had a monster 2019 and then was okay in 2020. But he's 36 now. And he's not having an amazing year. You can see here he's with the Brewers, but he's put up a 115 OPS plus in part-time duty. You can see his OPS plus here. Even at his worst, he's been around a league average player, which if he's even league average for me, that'll be a huge upgrade at first base. And what I gave up for him was, I got a minor league catcher. This guy's probably never going to play in the majors, but it's good to have catching depth in your minor league. So I got him too. And I gave up Gage Bradley, who was kind of like Wadlin, except as a pitcher for me, a guy who's been on the fringe for me for a few years. You can see he's got good stuff, 2 really good pitches. And he pitched well in AAA. He was my number 1 starter in AAA. But if you just look at his major league stuff, he hasn't done anything for me. Well, I've only given him 16 innings, but he's 27 now. He was just kind of a fringe guy who, the Brewers don't have as deep of a staff as me, so I'm sure he'll go into their bullpen and be okay for them.
Was dealt to the reigning World Series champs. The Brewers.
who don't look like they're going to make the playoffs. Yeah.
Wow, what happened? Did they lose some guys?
I don't know. They're 49-57. I mean, they were only a wild card team last year, even because their hitting sucks. I don't know what happened because they had a really good offense last year.
Wow, the 2 teams who were in the World Series last year, neither is performing at a high level right now.
Yeah, so Robbie Martin's having a good year, and Tony Rivas is having a good year. One of their guys isn't here. I remember they had a 3-4-5, and one of those guys might be hurt or something. I don't know. Oh, Josiah Miller is out. He's been out for all of July. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm 2 games under 500, but I think I'm good enough to go on a run if some of my guys would get their act together here. And I might make one more trade.
So those are the moves so far. So you brought in you made the 2 moves that you told us about previously in your last update. Then you brought in Moore as a stopper, and then you've got Josh Bell at first base.
Right.
And where's Ryan Mountcastle?
So yeah, that Oriole great. I designated him for assignment. Because Bell can only play first base. Maldonado is already like a DH and can fake a little first base. I couldn't have a 3rd first base only on my team. So
you get claimed by somebody?
No, I don't think he's going to get claimed.
So he's going to go to AAA. Oriole legend Ryan Mountcastle.
No, I think he'll probably refuse that. I think he'll probably end up a free agent.
I see.
So as you can see, like in 2025, he had a 106 OPS plus, so a little above league average. And then 2026, he was good, 118. But then 2027, he had 95 OPS plus, so 100 is league average, right? So he's 5% below league average as a hitter. And then last year, he's a 102, about league average. And then this year, man, a 59. He's worth negative 0.9 WAR. He's striking out in 30% of his at bats. Like, he's 32. I think he just like fell off a cliff and he's done.
Yeah, man, that's a shame. He was working his way up the franchise leaderboards.
Yeah, he's on several of them, and I thought was going to be able to pass Adam Jones in a couple. But yeah, so Mountcastle DFA'd at age 32, and just to pull this up, so slugging percentage, he's 9th all time in slugging percentage. OPS he fell off of the last couple of years. He's not up there in WAR games or at bats. Hits, he's 10th all time in hits. 8th in total bases. 5th in doubles. He was only 4 behind Brian Roberts.
Wow, and that guy like made a career out of doubles.
Yeah.
Brian Roberts in real life.
Yeah. And then home runs, he ended up 7th. He was like 20-some behind Jones. In RBI, he was 7th. So, yeah, man, I mean, a top 10 hitter in quite a few offensive stats. So, but he's gone.
Yeah, I look forward to Bob Maldonado making Mountcastle's records seem minuscule.
Oh, yeah. No, he's on his way.
Yeah. So you said you were thinking about making one more trade. What's that one?
So my rotation's been good. I've had the best starters ERA in the AL much of the year. It's slumped to 4th now. But so Lacey's out, right? So when Lacey went out, that's when I brought in Whitley, and he's been pretty solid. But Dylan Lawson, who was really good for me last year, he was hurt, and then he hasn't been great. So let me just switch this to just major league. So his ERA is 6.18, but his FIP is only 4.79. So that tells me he's been a bit unlucky with balls in play, but His strikeouts per 9 are down. He's got a career of 7.6. He's only doing 6.9 this year. His walks are about league average, or about his career average. So, I think normally I would be okay. Like, he could be my 5th starter or something, like I'd be all right with that. But with how much ground I have to make up, I don't know. I think I just have to go out and get somebody better.
So you're thinking about getting a pitcher and then rolling with the rest of the team as is?
Yeah, and I'd probably send Lawson down, to be honest, because he's one of the only guys who has minor league options. I've had a bunch of kind of homegrown arms be back of the rotation or bullpen arms for me, and I've sent a few of them down. Brady Corrigan went down when I made one of the trades. Luke Little went down when I made one of the trades, and now I might send Lawson down too. They've all been kind of disappointing this year.
What are the guys that you're targeting for? Do you have one guy in mind, or are you looking at
there was one specific guy from the Rangers.
Do you think it's cool to talk about it here on the air if other teams in your division are watching this live?
Yeah, hopefully they're too busy trying to improve their team, right?
Yeah, like if that guy from the Yankees, man, is on, we're screwed.
Yeah, it might come in and snipe me on Luis Gil here. So this is Luis Gil, who actually is a former Yankee prospect. I think he's a real-life Yankee prospect now. I'm not sure how good. But he's on the last year of his deal. You can see he's got awesome stuff. He's got 3 freaking phenomenal pitches. And for the Rangers, I mean, he's been awesome he put up 4.4 and then 4.3 WAR, 1.9 so far this year. His ERA is a good bit higher. But he's still striking out a bunch of guys. He's not walking too many. Home runs might be a little bit of a concern coming to Baltimore, but he's pretty good. I mean, this seems like a perfect kind of guy to get as a rental to try to go for it.
What's it going to take to get him? Have you looked at that yet?
Yeah, so they take this deal. So the biggest piece here is Vittori. So this was a guy who is my 4th outfielder coming into the year. And if you look here, he's now in the minors. He had 105 plate appearances, and he's only 24, right? But his OPS plus was 6. He had a 125 batting average, a 190 on base. I mean, some of that is that his BABIP was only 133, so a bunch of bad luck. Like I said, he is only 24. He's got good work ethic. He can play all 3 outfield positions, but I have so much outfield depth in my organization. I think I can afford to give him up.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a trade you got to make now to try to make a run and get into the playoffs.
There are 2 other smaller pieces. Again, Tim Bird, he's my 11th round pick in 2026. He's a college player, though. He's already 25. He ripped it up in low A last year after struggling there, and now he's doing really well in Delmarva. But another guy of cool, this is maybe a 4th or 5th outfielder. Because the other thing about Grady is, if you look at his ratings here, he sucks against lefties. At least my scout thinks he does. So he's a platoon bat, even if he gets his stuff together,
Yeah, nah, man. Got to go for it in 2029.
And then Billy Carroll, they're interested in, is 23. He's a 33rd round pick in 2025, and he looks terrible, but he's having a great year in Delmarva. He's on pace, well, not great, but on pace for 2.1 WAR. So just a solid minor league bullpen arm. I don't think he'll ever be anything more than an A-ball pitcher, though.
Sell high, man.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where the team's at.
What's how you feeling right now? Do you think you'll make the playoffs?
I mean, it depends, man. Here, sorry, let me get my screen back. It depends on stuff like this, Dylan Carlson. He's an MVP caliber player, and he's below league average this year. He's on pace for 0.9 WAR. He's got an OPS plus of 85. His career is a 138 in the major leagues, which is a 38. So in his major league career, he's been a 38% above league average as a hitter. This year, he's 15% below league average. That's hard to overcome, when it's your star player.
Is anything different on your team this year? Is morale down? Have you made any coaching changes?
No. He didn't have as good of a year last year, but he was still really good. It's always a little concerning when a guy is 30 and this is happening, almost 31. But hopefully he'll bounce back. And then the other big one was Weinberger. is finally getting on track. This is a guy who had a 133 OPS plus last year. He's got a 98 this year, but he's finally been good. Like with the last month or so, he's been good. So if those two guys get hot, I can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can do anything anyway, GM Pat. We believe in you.
I appreciate that.
But when did you make the manager change? How many years has the current guy been in there? I forget who he is.
This is his second year. Yeah, this is his second year. Christian Finley.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we went 162 with him last year.
So is there a chance that Carlson is performing poorly under him because he's had 2 bad years in a row?
Well, last year he was still good. He was still really good, like almost all-star level. He just wasn't like elite.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, no, I don't think that's necessarily it.
Got it. Kenneth had a question where he was talking about. We touched on this a little bit in our last.
Can I bring this screen down so I can see it? Can we go to you and me?
Yeah, I'll go back to us. Hold on.
Cool.
There we go.
All right. Awesome.
We talked about this a little bit in our last stream, but we were talking mostly about the contraction of the minor leagues. I hadn't thought about the draft piece of this. I keep forgetting about that. The draft will get smaller.
That's only for this year, right? That's not a permanent change, right? Or is it a permanent change when they restructured the minor leagues? I didn't know that.
I don't know, actually. Maybe Kenneth knows.
Yeah, because I knew they were talking about. I know they did the 5 years last year, and they reserved the right to do like a shorter draft this year too. And I remember hearing 20 rounds, but I actually didn't know if that's with shrinking the minor leagues, that could be. But
yeah, because where are you going to put all those guys? Like if you
I need to read more about this because guys who get drafted aren't going to go to low A ball, right? Like, our team's going to have like rookie complexes? Is there going to be any kind of like fall league or rookie league? The draft is going to be later, right? So like high school players who Kenneth says he thinks it's permanent. So the draft is now going to be, instead of like first week of June, it's going to be like mid to late July. They're doing it at the All-Star break. So by the time you get
the draft league a chance to run games?
Yeah, and they can make like the draft more of an event, like around the All-Star game. So I guess guys who get drafted, I think they changed it now to where you have a month to sign guys, because it used to be way too long. It used to be like 2 months. And I could be wrong about this, or maybe it's 2 months now and it used to be 3, whatever. But anyways, the point is by the time guys sign, like it's probably going to be sometime in August. So a lot of those guys probably aren't even going to play minor league ball their first year.
Right. Yeah, it is actually, if you think about it compared to NFL, NHL, NBA, I'd say the MLB draft is probably the least, I don't even know, I'm trying to think of the word, like in terms of it being a big production and a big television event, it's just a little blip compared to the way those other 3 are now.
Yeah, and probably, a lot of that is like it takes the longest to develop those players.
Yeah, it's not like most of the time you're not drafting like the top several picks and having them go right into the majors. It pretty much never happens. Like, I'm trying to think of the quickest we've seen a guy come up. Like we've seen the guys get drafted and like even like Bryce Harper, or Strasburg. I'm just trying to think of some of the big names that have been like the clear number one most years.
Yeah.
It's been like a season or so at least.
You'll see sometimes with a college reliever, like those guys sometimes can be up like in like a year or something. There was even talk this year of a couple guys drafted that they thought teams might call them up this season for like the playoffs, but I don't think that actually happened.
Yeah. A lot of players
they'll do like a team development system. Huh. But then like the next season will low A ball be like a lot of guys who were drafted out of high school, I guess? Because a lot of times those guys, I guess they spend, that makes sense. Normally maybe their first year they send at rookie ball, and then the ones who are going to be anything do probably go to low A after that.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how it happens both in real life and then what Out of the Park does for their game.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot. I don't know how long it takes them to develop the game for the next year, but it would seem that the changes baseball's making right now would be the biggest set of sort of like forced changes on the developers of Out of the Park in a while.
Yeah, but it's probably not like reprogramming though. Like I doubt they have to reprogram anything, right? It's probably just restructuring leagues.
Right. Restructuring the leagues, restructuring the draft. I don't know what else they'd have to do.
Yeah, I don't know, but like you and I could go into like an Out of the Park sim and do that pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're right. We could do it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe there's not a lot they have to do on the back end because you're right. That's all stuff. If we wanted to set up a league and have it exist right now, exactly like next year's baseball will be, we could do it.
Right.
If anybody else has any other questions, throw them in the chat and I'll throw them up on the screen. Hey,
I think our friends in Sydney, I think, are probably asleep. I think it's like 4 or 5 in the morning there. So
yeah, you're right.
Friends of the show in Sydney, Australia.
I hope our 2 viewers in Sydney get to meet someday in real life. Yeah, maybe it'll be like the International Complex.
Yeah, kind of like the train. Yeah, like Kenneth had said, like the kind of training complexes they had this year.
Right, or they have like they'll do extended spring training, or they'll send guys who are rehabbing like down to Florida first.
Right.
So we'll see. I'm sure there's a bunch about it out there. I just haven't read much about it yet.
Yeah, I haven't. I've basically read like the big, headline type things, but I haven't dug into like what they're doing with like, is the Dominican Summer League still going to be a thing, or like the Arizona Fall League? Because those are the rookie ball leagues,
Right.
I'm sure that's out there. I haven't read enough of Ken Rosenthal's reports on it yet.
Yeah, me neither. I want to see if I can pop something up here on my screen because I wanted to ask you about it. Hold on, let me get this thing up there.
Oh yeah, this thing's awesome.
Have you used this yet?
I messed around with it some, yeah.
So yeah, I saw this, I think, in the Reddit forums, or it might have been on OOTP's forums. And I'm just curious how well it works. So have you tried it and actually changed anybody's position, like a young player's position yet based on this?
No, I wouldn't say I changed it because after playing so much, like I kind of have a feel for where guys can play,
Yeah.
But this definitely, I messed around with it some, but like the one place I did it was I was wondering if any of my outfielders who had like pretty terrible infield ratings could play first base.
Yeah.
And I used that some, and then I used it on a couple guys who were like fringe corner outfielders who I knew couldn't start in center field. But I wanted to know how high their rating could get. So should we explain it, what this is?
Yeah, you've actually used it. You're probably going to do a better job at explaining it than I can. But
so yeah,
on the forums.
On the left-hand side there, the enter player ratings. If you scroll down a little bit, you put in all the players' ratings under the ratings tab. You plug them in here under the infield range, outfield range, error, all that. And then you hit submit. And what it will do is it'll give you, I believe it's what the maximum rating the player can get at each position, as well as how much that will add or subtract to the player's WAR over the course of a full season.
Cool. I'm going to try one out here.
Do you want me to give you like an actual player? Or?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
So let me pull up my Out of the Park screen. So, all right. So there was one guy I was doing it on that I wanted to see what he could do between center field and first base because he was a corner outfielder, right?
Okay.
And so this is, or maybe I wasn't checking first base for him, but I was checking center field, I think. So he's 6'4". You need his height, right?
Yep. Okay, got it. 6'4".
And he's left-handed.
Okay.
And what do you need next? Catcher ability? He's a 20 on both.
Okay, so 20.
And then infield goes 25, 20, 30.
25, 20, 30?
And then 20 for turn double play.
Okay, so this guy's clearly not a middle infielder.
And then his outfield goes 60, 45, 50.
All right.
So I wanted to see, like, is it like I knew he'd be a fringe center fielder at best, but I used it to see like what he could do.
So this is where now this is his rating that he's likely to have when he kind of fully matures as a player.
I think that's what it is. Does it say it below positional potential or at the top? I can't see the screen too well, but
I don't really know if it says when they'd.
I think it's just what they can mature to.
Got it. Yeah. So according to this guy should be a left fielder probably.
Yeah, and he is.
And put up .9 WAR as a catcher. What?
Oh yeah, I don't know what that's about. I think some of the positional. Yeah, that's weird. And he is, so for me, he's 65, 45, 55 across the outfield. Is that what that is? Is that his max? Oh, sorry, I just took it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I just popped yours up.
Cool.
So you want to know what his max was?
Yeah, I think I have him at his max at all of them, the 65, 45, 55. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, how old is this guy?
He's 24.
Got it. Okay. And what position are you playing him at right now?
So he's actually up. He's my 4th or 5th outfielder right now. He plays a little bit of everywhere, but you can see, like, look how good he's been in Norfolk. He had a 142 and then a 147 OPS plus, like batting average close to 350 this season. He's a beast. But he hasn't done anything in the majors yet for me. He's been pretty mediocre so far.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's cool. I got to try this now with some guys. I'm curious.
Oh, sorry, I just minimized that. I didn't realize you still had it up. You want me to pull it back up?
No, I'll get it down.
So Kenneth looks like he started his Mets franchise.
Yeah, so finally played my first start of the season. 18-1.
Why'd you have to restart?
Yeah, because it wasn't enough like real life? What's going on here?
The Mets were too good?
And now you're stuck with a 6-12 Mets team? What happened? That's crazy that it would be off by that much. But, I mean, that happens. And over the course of the season, they might still kind of end up wherever they were going to end up. But sure. 18-1 is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's a best case scenario, I'd say.
Oh, he said it crashed.
Oh, it crashed.
Oh, that sucks.
I haven't really I had that happen one time years ago, but I haven't had any with the last 2 out of the parks. I haven't had any crashes where I lost anything. Oh, on a tablet. So is it? Can you can do regular out of the park 21 on a tablet?
Or is it they don't have the mobile version anymore? Isn't that what you said, right, Pat, the other day?
Yeah, I just didn't realize. I didn't realize you could do 21 on a tablet, like the non-mobile versions.
Yeah, I've done the mobile version on a tablet before, but then all I've done since then is
Windows tablet. Gotcha.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily built to run on tablets. You might run into that again.
I guess don't do that again, though, especially after an 18-1 start. Kenneth, did you do anything different on the second one, or was it the exact same team, everything set the same? I'm just curious about, why you might have had that big of a fluctuation.
Yeah, everything was going right in that 18-1 simulation.
What's the most wins you've had a franchise get in a season, Pat? Either this O's one or another one.
Oh, most at the end of a season?
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually. I mean I've crossed 110 a couple times. I remember. But yeah, I don't remember the exact number.
He says nothing. He said we got a question here in a second from Alec, but Kenneth says nothing changed. It was the exact same.
Yeah, man.
So man, I was excited about the 18-1 Mets. That sucks.
Yeah.
Never that season got canceled. General question.
So I don't change the aging speed. I can't remember if I changed injury frequency. Let me check that real quick for you. Trying to remember where the injury frequency setting is. There's so many freaking tabs for stuff.
You mind if I pop that up on the screen so you can see?
Yeah, right now it's just me kind of like looking through. If one of them remembers where it is off the top of their head, I can tell you what I have my injury at. Yeah, let me know if somebody remembers where it is. It's hard to keep track of where everything is because there's so much.
Yeah.
Players is not there. I thought it'd be under options, but yeah, I might have changed the injury frequency. I did not change the aging though. Rules. I'm sure this is riveting stuff to watch me go through these tabs. Is it AI settings? No. Global settings. Is it here?
Kenneth says game settings.
Yeah, I'm under game settings, but then there's a million tabs.
I don't remember either. It's been a little while since I looked for this stuff, and I'd have to click around.
I just don't go to it enough to remember. So I do change the player weight, and I might mess with this some more. This is how much the AI puts into evaluate. So I have it, basically it's at 45% ratings and 55% stats, with the breakdown between current, previous, and 2 years ago being 30, 20, and 5%. So I changed that. I changed the trade difficulty to very hard and heavily favors prospects. Okay. It's taking forever to load the database thing. Yeah, I think it's probably under one of these tabs, but I'm just not sure where. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool.
He said it's under game settings, players, and face gen.
Oh, players and face gen. Okay.
All right. Players, face gen. Okay. Oh, so I have it to normal, and I think high might be the default. So yeah, I have it set to normal, and that might have been one of the things that I changed.
And what made you change it?
Just because with like, do you want me to bring that back up or okay? I don't know. I mean, there's so many arm injuries in baseball now, and Out of the Park does a good job of making it realistic with that higher injury setting. It's just, I still have plenty of pitchers get hurt. Like, you know, my number 2 starter and my top bullpen guy both missed basically this entire season. I still have multiple, 4, 5, 6 pitcher injuries every season. So.
Got it. So it should cut down on some of the injuries that occur as it's related to the player's aging.
No, you can change the aging speed though. So how quickly guys fall off.
Like the decline in their careers.
Right.
But and then injuries being, the separate category. I didn't know if you were saying that with the aging, depending on how you have that adjusted, you may have, guys get injured more as they get older.
I don't think so. I think the injury frequency, I don't know if those tie together, but yeah, they're listed as 2 separate things.
Because then you had to adjust your offensive settings too, because yours was getting crazy. That was the other thing.
I did change it because, with how much strikeouts and home runs have risen the last few years, and if you keep playing, out of the park kind of assumes that's going to continue to increase. And just the amount of home runs just gets crazy. I had 3 guys who were good players, but not great, in the top 10 all time for O slugging percentage after 2 seasons with me. Cause slugging percentage varies so much based off of the hitting environment.
Cool. Got some more questions. This one's from Kenneth.
I sometimes do request scouting reports before trades, but not all the time. Honestly, there's not a lot of times you're not going to see a huge difference in the accuracy of a report. Somebody did a study on it when this new scouting system came out this year, to where you had different tiers of accuracy, and you could request, you didn't get reports on a consistent basis, and sometimes you had to request them. Basically, if you have a guy who has low scouting accuracy and you go scout him and it goes to very high accuracy, the difference in the scouting report is not all that great. So no, that's never going to keep me from making a trade, but sometimes I'll do it, especially if it's a younger player or a guy whose production has changed a bunch in the last several months, something like that.
Cool. Another question.
I have not done a 6-man rotation. I don't know if it helps with injury frequency, but I do put most of my pitchers on pitch limits. And I don't know for sure. I remember reading on the Out of the Park forum, a bunch of people saying they do that and they think it cuts down on injuries. I don't know if there's been a study done on it. But so with prospects in the minor leagues and when they're coming up, I will set their pitch to starter. For starters, I'll set their pitch limit to 90 pitches. And really, even once I have a guy in the major leagues, right now, I've got several veteran starters. I still set most of their limits to 105, 110. So that's the way I try to do it. I don't know if it actually helps, but yeah, I don't do 6-man rotation. I do a pitch limit.
Have you done a 4-man rotation before?
No, not in a season.
I did it for a short time one season. I forget why. I think I might have had a really good pitcher injured, or I don't remember what, but I played with it. I did it for 2 months. I think I did it for April and May. But
were they able to recover? Normally it takes them the full 4 days off to recover.
Yeah, I switched because it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. It could have been any number of factors, pitching coach, just the team I had, but I felt like guys were getting shelled, and so then I switched back to a 5-man. But
yeah, they're normally only 60 or 70% energy on the 4th day.
Yeah, I just did it to play with it for a little while, just because I wanted to see what it felt like.
Done it. In the playoffs, when I have off days, I do it, but I haven't done it as an actual thing when they were pitching on short rest.
Yeah,
a bunch of Trevor Bauers in my rotation.
I don't see it going well. I don't know how. Yeah, over the course of a season. At least I could have stuck with it. I could experiment with it sometime, but when I did it just for 2 months, it wasn't great.
Yeah, I'd imagine it wouldn't work out well.
But for a little while, it was good. I remember for the first month. But there's at the beginning of April, sometimes you have a couple extra off days in there,
right?
And a lot of teams will roll with 4 pitchers for the first week or 2 of the season anyway.
Right.
But then it got ugly after that. All right. Any more questions? Hey, Pat, I'm going to pop this link in here and plug Fake Sports.
Yeah.
I just put a link in there if you weren't here at the beginning. I've been talking to Pat about this. I love talking to people about their fake sports dynasties. So on my own YouTube channel, I'm going to start talking more about OOTP, NHL, Madden, Football Manager, FIFA, whatever. So check out that link, subscribe, set a reminder, and come talk about the amazing franchises you're building on my stream. I'm going to do the first one on Monday night. And Pat will be making an appearance. I don't know.
I have a FIFA team you might want to interview. My friends started a club team, and we're all terrible. And we just created it yesterday, and our club team name is Real Bofa.
Excellent. Where? What city you guys playing out of?
I don't know. That's the only. I haven't actually played with it yet. They were texting about it, and I haven't signed on to join the team yet. I just know the name.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Kirk
Kurt,
was
hold
looking
on,
for a channel link.
I'll throw the channel link in there too. That one I popped in there already is for the stream I'm doing Monday, but let me pop the channel link in there too. And the channel's where I'm currently running my fake hockey franchise, but I'm gonna branch out a little bit and do some other stuff on that channel. So I just popped the channel link in there too, Kirk.
And if I was subscribed to your hockey channel, that's the same channel? I'm still subscribed.
You're still subscribed?
I'm saying that's your hockey channel, right? And you're just changing it over a little?
It's where I've been streaming my hockey franchise, but I'm going to start doing some other stuff there. So that's where I'm going to do fake sports dynasties.
Right.
Thanks for subbing, Kirk. Kirk had a question too. I just threw it up there.
So for starting with GM stuff, so let me pull up the manager settings. So it really depends. You said you've been doing manager mode for a while. So it really depends on how comfortable you are with like the depth of the game. Like it sounds like you've been playing the game. I don't know why my computer's running so weird here. So
do you want your,
what's that?
Do you want your screen up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me know when it's up.
You're good.
Cool. So lineups and depth charts and pitching staff, it sounds like you were probably already doing as manager, so you know how to do those. I would definitely recommend doing active roster moves, demotions, promotions, IL, so you know who's on your team. Same with the transactions. I do that. I'd want to be the one doing trades and reacting to trades. Drafting is a lot of fun. I would definitely do that. Budgets, you could leave that to an assistant GM if you wanted. International amateurs, you could also leave that to an assistant GM, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty basic. You could do that. Team personnel, I'd recommend doing. You could leave minor league personnel to your assistant GM for sure. That would take something off your plate. So same thing with minor league free agent signings and releases, I guess. And promotions, demotions, and strategy for the minor leagues is like the big one, right? So, you know, you could always leave that to your assistant GM. I don't have an assistant GM, but you could always leave that to your assistant GM. But if you do that, what I'd recommend doing is go into certain players and like say this guy. Oh, by the way, in the mid-season prospect report, Mario Armendariz got ranked as the #1 prospect in baseball. So Julio Concepcion, like say you didn't want to do all the promotions and demotions, I'd still take like your top 20 prospects and go to game strategy and lock to the current minor league team and just control like those 20 guys. And then you could always make a short list of those players. Like you could short list and create a new short list and have it be top prospects. And those are the guys that you promote or demote, and you could let your minor league or your assistant GM take care of the rest.
Hey, GM Pat, I have a question for you because you decided not to go with an assistant GM. Yeah. And I know one of the reasons you did it is it saves budget money. Yeah. But also, do you just see no value in it? Because, I mean, they basically just help you with giving you recommendations on whether they'd make a trade or not. I mean, what else is there? Like, why would you keep one?
I mean, I guess if you didn't want to control all those things like the minor league promotions and demotions or the minor league managers and coaching staffs, like they'll do that for you. Other than that, I mean, I don't take their trade advice. I just don't use them. So, I don't. But if you're new and you don't want to do all of the stuff that a GM does, it makes sense to have one and let him do stuff.
Or sometimes you're rebuilding the Baltimore Orioles franchise and Brady Anderson is your assistant GM. And when you have the first pick overall in the draft, like I did, he recommends Glenn Allen Hill Jr.
Right.
That was a rough stretch for the O's when.
Too bad there weren't some PF Holden drafting tutorials out there for you at that point.
This was pre PF Holden channel, so that would have been good to have back then. I might not have made the same mistake, but And then I think when you started the game, I told you, okay, fire Brady Anderson immediately.
Yeah, and that's the thing anybody starting a franchise should do is, unless your scout is elite, fire your scout and hire the best one available. Scouting is everything in this game.
Right. Yeah. Oh, definitely. The scout. I mean, the AGM. I mean, you can just get rid of them right away, pretty much, if you want, and save the money.
Yeah.
But, and then, yeah, looking for a new scout is huge.
Yep. That's the first thing I always do when I start.
And the other thing, for a while there, I think was this in OOTP 20? It was like the first move was also hire Joe Girardi as your manager.
Yeah, I think was that the year that he had like left the Yankees. He had left the Yankees. I think it was in the broadcast booth, but he was still out there as like one of the best managers in the game.
Yeah. That's what I did when I was rebuilding the O's in OOTP 20.
International free agent is super important. 3 of my top 5 prospects right now are guys I signed as international amateurs. The July 2nd, like 16-year-old amateur free agents. Yeah, no, it's super important. And I think I said this last time, but I just find that whoever my scout thinks is the top prospect, and on July 2nd, I offer him $5 million, and I get my guy every time.
Yeah, that is the best way I found too. After
yeah,
I think you told me you were using it consistently, and I was noticing the same thing because I'd try to get 2 guys, like see 2 guys I like, and think like,
right.
Oh, what if I get 1 for 2 and 1 for 3? And it almost never happens. You almost always lose one of the guys. Sometimes the best guy, you end up with the second guy and having to spend more than you thought on him. So I agree. Just throw $5 million at the one guy and get him.
And the reason, because I got sick of, if there was a top prospect who some other team offered $5 million to, it won't let you offer $5 million. He's like, hey, I want $5 million to sign, but it won't let you submit an offer. So I got sick of that happening, and that's why I could just, cool, I'm going to be the first team to offer $5 million, so nobody can top me.
I wonder if they'll fix that. It seems like they could do something to make it a little more challenging around that.
I think you can increase the number of international free agents available to where it's a lot more. And I don't know if that changes the demand of the top end players or not, but I know you can do that. I've always left it at the default setting though.
Okay, cool. Kenneth wants to know who the best scout is.
I mean, I always like guys who highly favor tools. Basically, you're going to have guys who favor tools or ability. I think guys who favor tools are the best because you're going to end up with more busts, but you're going to end up he goes for the high ceiling, probably low floor players. So you're going to end up with more superstars. And so I always go with guys who highly favor tools. And I generally think it's the most important to have them be really good at scouting international and amateurs. But I like them to be good at everything.
But sometimes, like I'll do this with scouts or managers and coaches. Like when you start your franchise, there'll be guys who are better than whoever you have, and you can fire your guys and bring those guys in. But then I'm still keeping an eye for the guys who are the superstars that I can then upgrade one more time to. Because it's not like when you start the franchise, there's going to be an ideal candidate for every role that you want to put somebody in.
Sure. Yeah. No, for sure. I had a couple of years in this Orioles one where like I had a hitting coach who I wasn't thrilled with, but there just wasn't anything better out there.
Right. So you plug the hole with somebody and then wait till somebody better comes along. I'm always looking at that in the off season, like just like I'm looking at like where I can improve at each position. I'm looking at, hey, is there anybody available who's a better coach? Even if it's somebody I can throw in the minor leagues too, sometimes to hopefully have up someday.
Totally.
All right. What else we got? Anybody have any other questions before we sign off on this fake Orioles 2029 trade deadline special? I do have a question, GM Pat. When do you think the rest of the season gets played? When will we see an update and know whether the O's have made the playoffs for is this like the 6th or 7th consecutive season that you're trying to make the playoffs?
I think this would be 7th. Yeah.
Okay.
This would be the 7th straight playoff season.
So you made it 4 times and then made it 2 more times after that and advanced to the World Series both those times. And this would then be your 7th attempt. Okay.
Right. 6 straight playoffs, 3 division titles, including the last 2.
But still not our first World Series since 1983. I'm waiting.
We all are. We all are.
And as I told you, I'll make this promise now, live on PF Holden's channel. If the O's win the World Series, the fake Orioles win the World Series in your game, I'll drink from my 1983 Orioles beer stein, which I probably should save for if the real Orioles ever win the World Series. But I've been waiting since '83, so I'm fully committed here. This is my O's team.
Wow.
I'm drinking a beer out of that thing if you win.
Wow, that's a big commitment.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
During the post-game party you're going to have on here as a live stream when you win that thing.
Right. Spraying champagne in my office.
Say that again?
Spraying champagne in my office.
Exactly. If you win this thing and you don't spray champagne in
just
your house,
hang tarps in the room.
Okay, we got to plan this out. If you get
the goggles and everything.
If this fake Orioles team gets into the World Series and you're up and there's a game you're playing where you could potentially win it that night, I expect tarps to be hanging in your house. That would be fantastic. That would be a great fake Sports Dynasties moment. Kirk was saying people in real life, highly undervalued coaching in baseball. Batting, pitching coaches can be the difference between the good and bad clubs often. Same for the game. I mean, definitely at the major league level.
Right.
OOTP. What I haven't figured out for sure is, and I don't know what the right formula is. I don't know if anybody's done a video on this. I don't think you've done it in one of yours, Pat. The right guys to hire to develop your players. Like, I do pay attention to their ratings when I hire guys for the minor leagues, but I'm not sure how much that affects it versus the budget you're setting on those things. But I definitely noticed the difference. I mean, obviously in the major league level when you fire your pitching coach and bring in somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good answer for which coaches hire in the minor leagues. I think the coaching engine and the reputation and all that is something that could use a lot of work because there doesn't seem to be a lot of rhyme or reason to it unless you actually go into commissioner mode and look at the coach's ratings.
Oh, I see. So the stuff you can only see, but yeah, that's a cheat though, right?
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, there's no other way to really know. I wish there was an in-between level they gave you. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing.
We need the guy who did the catcher's video to do a full analysis of this for us. Or that guy who did, I got to find those videos. The guy who went into Madden and figured out the characteristics.
With the drafting?
You sent me that YouTube series and I had screenshots of them. So when I'd get to draft day in Madden, I'd pull up my screenshots to know, for outside linebacker, you need these categories.
Right.
It worked like a charm, man.
Yeah, no, it was great. You could find guys in the 3rd or 4th round who were first round guys.
Absolutely. I won some Super Bowls thanks to that guy's videos.
Yeah, same.
I don't know who that hero is. I need to go back and figure out who he is and thank him. What's it? Commissioner mode?
Yes, you can change everything in commissioner mode. You can do anything you want.
Make everybody as good as Colorado Rockies superstar Jeffrey Lebowski.
That's right.
I'm ready for another dude update. I want to see what that guy does in the next season, and I'm a little concerned after his injury. If in the World Series, he got injured in game 7, right? Or the game they won it in. He got hurt.
The game they won, yeah.
I hope he recovers because that guy's got a shot at leading the majors in every offensive category when he retires.
Yeah, absolutely he does.
When do you think Lebowski's going to happen next? After the O's season?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I've got some time off work around Christmas, so maybe then.
You have another job?
Yeah, yeah. In addition to being the GM of the O's, I do have another job. Yeah,
All right, all right.
unfortunately.
Overachieving there, man. Um, all right. Well, I'm going to sign off and
Cool.
look forward to seeing how the rest of this O's season goes.
Yeah,
I'm really
looking
hoping
forward
to
to
make my,
your stream on Monday.
my stream on Monday. Say that. What about my stream on Monday?
I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it. I'm glad you are. You going to stay up late and get on that stream?
Maybe we'll see. That's a little late for me on a work night, but we'll see.
It is. It is. But I don't know. I'm sure you had a lot of late nights in the warehouse for this trade deadline. So I hope you'll stay up late one more time when we talk about fake sports dynasties on Monday. I just posted the link to the channel again if anybody wants to hit subscribe to that and jump into the stream on Monday night at 9. Hey, GM Pat, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for giving us your time. I know you're
Thanks
a busy
for having
man.
me.
You have a lot of pressure, and I'm just wishing you the best. And keep up the good work with this ball club. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, thanks. Go O's. Appreciate your support.
Go O's. Later. See ya.
Bye.